Greetings and salutations from Los Angeles.
Hi, guys.
Monique,
what up?
Monique and I are here with one of my best friends, Mark Shapiro. I've known Mark since 2013, I believe.
I think 2013.
2013.
Good math, yeah.
And I've been hearing about Mark ever since Peter and I met.
So we just met today.
We're finally
You're kind of like an online celebrity because I see you on the interwebs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She's quite famous on the interwebs. But we are here for Everyday Tantra, and we're going to talk a little bit about the endless road. We're going to talk about how those days when you're like, oh God, when is this ever going to end? Or when am I going to get a break? Or this just isn't working right, and I can't figure this out. And so there's days when you just want to quit. But then there's also those breakthrough days where it's like, wow, I have the best job in the world. Mm-hmm. So we want to talk about what are we doing to help ourselves feel nourished on this endless road.
You want to start, Mark?
Sure. Well, those days are super duper real for me. I was telling you guys that. So I'm a podcaster. I support people. I have a kind of 8-week productivity type program. And there are days when I am just on fire and I feel like the universe and I are in sync. And then there's other days where I'm like, this is just not going to work. This isn't sustainable, or I'm not going to be able to achieve the results that I really want to achieve. So it's definitely a mixed bag.
Right. So what do you do to kind of keep the fire burning inside of you? Sure.
So I think, one thing is that self-love. Mm-hmm. Self-love practice, meditation, taking nice warm baths consistently.
Yes. That's Monique's favorite.
Getting out of my head and into my body is something that I'm constantly reminding myself. But then in terms of like what system is accountability. Accountability for me is what really keeps me moving forward, even on days where I don't really want to show up. So how that looks more specifically for me is releasing my podcast every Tuesday. It's been 3 years now. I haven't missed a week.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So consistency there, as well as just putting deadlines on things that I wouldn't normally have deadlines on. Just keeps me accountable to the things that are important to me that I could easily let slide. And so that's what usually keeps me focused. And when I'm having a rough day, it's a good motivator for me to keep my head up and to keep things moving, even if I'm not moving at as fast of a pace as I would when things are absolutely flowing and on fire.
I like that tip of accountability because you can do that for each other. You can have an accountability buddy. It's something that you can mark off your list. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, we just came from Australia. And so Peter and I, we're so lucky because we get to travel around and do what we love. And we were just at this amazing, amazing festival. And so we're meeting all of these new contacts. We're having all of these amazing experiences with all of these people. And then we go to this super deep workshop by one of our lovely mentors, Rex. And he's talking about money and love. And we're going around and just diving deep into your survival and your trust and all this stuff that I didn't create a foundation of when I was little. And so I get to dive through all those layers now. And so I'm like, but I worked through my sexuality. And then they're like, and now there's money. And so then Peter's going around the room, and there happens to be a girl that we had a threesome with the year before. And so they start interacting with each other. And all of a sudden, all this stuff comes up inside of me. And I'm like, what? Why am I triggered now? And they're just it all started snowballing. And the rest of that day, then it just felt like, why, when I've done all of this work, is there still so much inside of me? I just want a vacation. I'm like, can't I just be normal one day? I just want a normal day. And so I ended up doing a lot of the things that Mark talked about. And I went and had a nice long bubble bath, and I went and sat by the ocean and just really let myself feel all of those feelings. And I talked to Peter, and I'm like, Peter, wow, my heart hurts today. I'm a lot more triggered than I normally am. And so can you be gentle with me? And really having that spaciousness so that by the next day, then I started feeling like, okay, I'm ready to come back out of my shell and go dive into the next layer.
That's a good story. Because that was triggering for me in other ways than what you had. But for me, I felt like I was being judged and my freedom was being taken away, and I got super angry, and it took me a few minutes to really calm down. But I learned a lot about myself, that it's not always the end of the world when someone wants to take away your freedom. And someone wants to curb your enthusiasm, so to speak, about connecting with somebody else. even though to me it was very innocuous and just like, hey, I'm just giving a person a hug. To other people, that perspective could be totally different, and realizing that everybody has their own perspective, and that when you honor someone else's perspective right away, I think it diffuses the chasm between the two of you quite easily. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure everybody was...
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I loved Rex's class. I think it was an amazing way to look at money and how to transmute it into that money means more than money. Mm-hmm. There's so much more meaning than what money is, and just piece of paper buying us stuff. It's like it's our hearts, our dream, our desires. It's really, it was in a fantastic class, and I thank Rex deeply for it.
But I think all three of us here can agree that one of the ways that keeps us coming back to those layers, keep coming back to that self-love, that self-work, is classes like Rex, is having that client, is having the life that we have. And so even in those moments that it may feel like the world's ending, or why do I still have to die through so much more work, then there's still the bigger picture that you can hold on to of, wow, remember that class that I had last week? Or this friend, or like whatever it is that's been so amazing in your world that this work's brought in, then that can help you put into perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mark, what do you like to talk about on your podcast? Like, what drives you? What's your fire inside?
What drives me is deep conversation. So realness. You know, we all have like real stuff that's going on in our lives constantly.
Realness.
And
it's so funny that you would meet Monique today, because Monique is an authenticity and vulnerability
Yes.
coach.
Well, so is Mark. So what do you love about realness? Why does that do it for you?
Well, to me, it's when I have the courage to express myself and just let myself be seen, it is so liberating to be able to express. And then it gives the invitation for other people to be able to relate to me, to understand me, to connect to me, maybe see a part of themselves, for me to be able to see a part of themselves in me. And I love it. I truly believe at the bottom of my heart that the more open and honest we are with ourselves and each other, the better we can understand each other. And if we understand each other, we can know how to support each other. I know, like,
totally speaking Monique's language right
now. I mean, like, we want, like, as human beings, we want to provide value for others. Like, we want to feel like we're here for a reason and have purpose. And like, how can we really support each other if we don't know how to best support one another? And I think it comes from openness and understanding, so we know how to be a best support.
What Monique loves the most in this world is depth, and you can't get depth if you're not being real. And if you're just gliding on the surface of reality, and you're playing most of your illusionary sort of parts of yourself, you're not being real, you're never going to reach that depth. So we both concur with you completely.
And when you find that depth too, I think that's another key, because when you have the multiple depths inside of you, then when you have those bad days, then you're able to resource from one of the things that you've really dove in and found within yourself.
Yeah.
So how do they find you, Mark?
Yeah.
Where are your podcasts?
Sure. At Are You Being Real on Instagram, or areyoubeingroreal.com is the place. So.
And then
you're also to jam.
And then you're also doing a thing called Winning Weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the accountability program.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Accountability, coaching. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you guys for having me. This is awesome.
And all of you that are watching at home, then really feel into and know that even like some of your greatest mentors that are out there, or everyone that you're seeing, that it might look like that they're taking all these selfies and they're having this incredible life. I promise you that they are having days too, that they wish that everything was completely different. And so anytime that you're having those feelings or those moments, please be gentle with yourself. Please love you wherever you're at, and recognize and realize that's happening to everybody around you, even if they're not showing it to you.
Yeah. Fall back on your self-care. Bubble baths, foot massages, back and shoulder massages, facials. You know, do whatever you need to recharge and resource yourself.
And have friends around you that can remind you of that and help you
that's so huge
love
for me.
you.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. We love you. We will be talking to you again very soon.
Bye, love.
This was fun. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Mark.